Good morning, cyber friends. Mitty Man coming back at you again from Walker's Music. Yet another word for the day. We want to give God the honor, give Him all the praise. For life, health, and strength, people. He taught us again this morning with that finger of love. Our eyes flew wide open. See another day that we've never seen before, one we never will see again. And for that, we give Him praise. Also to the YouTube family, as well as the End Time Harvest Gang from Brother L.A. down to little Brother Orange Flavor. We give everyone their accolades. I wanted to come back and cut through the chase this morning, and I wanted, first of all, Brother JT, I saw your video late yesterday, or I should say last night, and about the issue you was having with your sound, and I'm just gonna ask you. I know how my setup is, and I come from a mixer. Into my sound card of my PC, and I does it via a splitter cable for my stereo out with a to the mini 3.5 millimeter connection into the sound card, but I goes into the line in of my sound card, not the mic end. It will not work that way. Well, it'll work that way. I'm not saying it won't work, but it won't be very favorable to do it that way. But if you go into the line in, then I get great, as you have seen, I get great things when it's working right. Because I had the same issue you having, and I found out that what was going on. See, I was using this stereo plug, a mini stereo plug, and I was plugging it all the way in with the line in on the sound card. And if you do that, you're gonna always go to the left channel. That's just the way the MIDI stereo plugs are made. You got two sleeves. You got a tip sleeve on that tip ring and a sleeve on a mini plug. One access left and one access right. And when you plug it in all the way on the sound card, especially in the PC, what you are inevitably doing is you are cutting out one of your channels, namely the right channel. So what you have to do, if you're using that, if you are using a stereo plug, try pulling it out just a tad out of your sound card. Not much, but just a tad, so you'll only so you'll get a mono. It'll go to both channels, or I should say a condensed version of your right and left. It'll get a mono signal, and that way it'll come out of your right and your left speaker. I know that's what I have to do. Now, I don't know how your setup is, but I'm just saying this might give you an idea of how you need to try to check yours out. It might help. I know when I do that, I have to do that. If I don't, all of my audio going to the left channel. I've caught myself doing that on numerous occasions, because you've even told me that some of my stuff was only coming out on one side, and also I've had others to tell me, like Brother Hodncliffe, that my sound and coming out on one side, as well as Brother L.A. But I just wanted to throw that out there very first and foremost, to let you know what time it is. Mitty Man has been kind of working on some stuff, like I told you about this communications hub. And people, let me tell you something about that now. Mitty Man, I've always been notorious for coming up with names. I believe in giving things names. I've always have been like that. Every group I've ever been in, I always was one that came up with the name. Even when I was with another reverend around in this area, he had a record company he started, had me as his CFO, and I was the one that named the studio Session Singers, and we had our record label was called Valley Records, and I just came up with the name that was fitting. I thought I used his name, which was Reverend Flowers, and I said I was calling Reverend Flowers and the Valleyettes. In other words, sort of like I kind of thought about Ray Charles when he had the Raylettes and stuff like that. So I just said the Valleyettes because of the Valley Records. And also my former group that I used to be a part of, and Cross of Calvary, I named them as well. I've just always been notorious for coming up with names. All the kids, all the grandkids, and everybody, I've got names for them. Every one of them, I give them a name, a nickname. I've just always been notorious for coming up with names. So The reason I'm saying all this is because to let you know, when I say a communications hub, now don't look for nothing like NASA. Don't look for nothing like NASA. It's just a way that I'm trying to get where everybody can communicate, because Lady D had tried to come get me at an earlier time, and I wasn't able at that particular time. I was inconvenient to do so in no kind of way. Matter of fact, I think I told her that we could probably do it on Skype, but like I said, everybody doesn't use Skype or Uvu. There's something they call Uvu. I looked at that, and it's a way that that you can, do like a video conference with, like, I think about 6, maybe 12. I'm not certain. That is okay for 6 or 12. I feel like I don't think we would ever need. I don't think it would be more than about 3 or 4 of us that might need to talk at one time. That might be okay, but I was just looking at something a little bit more elaborate than 6 or 12, because you never know, you might get more than that. So, but right now I'm looking toward Uvu, either not AIM. It's something I used to use years ago, Pal Talk. I think you can use conference, and I know Yahoo used to have conference video. Well, at least I know they had audio conference and at one time. But I'm gonna look into those Yahoo, Uvu, and I think Google got something that we can I can perhaps set up for to do the same thing. So at any rate, just watch for it. I'm gonna let everybody know when I get something going. In other words, and we'll test it out. Like I said, y'all, just be patient, and don't want anybody to lose courage. I don't want no one to lose courage because I hated that I wasn't able to speak with Lady D on the time that she had asked about that. But nevertheless, we did get a chance to kind of do a little chat session. I think it was in Facebook or whatnot and everything. But sometimes it's better than when you can communicate verbally. I know I like to do that myself. So, but we just, like I said, that's how come I'm busy trying to get that set up, so we won't ever have to be to the point to where if one want to verbalize, they can also do that as well. This morning, people, I only got this to say about as far as the word for the day. And the only thing I'm going to say is I want to just remind us about the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, and I shall not want. In these times, people, we living in, I was looking at a documentary on last evening. Matter of fact, not too many hours ago, because it was after 12. And it's something they call a documentary they play on TBN called Against All Odds, about the Jewish nation. Now we know that Israel became a nation in 1948 in May. This month marks a special month. May is, for many reasons, but namely because of the fact, one of the prophetic reasons was when Israel became a nation. Jesus said, when the fig tree bloomed. Now, people, we know the fig tree is Jerusalem. According to the Bible prophecy, the fig tree always relate to the nation, the state of Israel, the Jew in the city of Jerusalem. Jerusalem is the fig tree, apple of God's eye. That's his epicenter. And according to Bible prophecy, if you got to read it, you got to study it, you got to understand it. He said that the generation that sees the fig tree bloom, this generation would not pass until all things be fulfilled, including the second coming of Christ. Well, people, if prophecy is correct, which I believe very much so, and if I am interpreting, now listen to what I said, if I am interpreting what the scriptures say correctly, and according to what a generation is, we shouldn't have too much longer for this thing to culminate. We shouldn't have too long for everything to come to a head. Because in 1948, the fig tree bloomed. Jesus said the one that saw this happen, the generation that saw this happen, would not pass until all be fulfilled in his coming back. So people, I say again, you do the calculation. You do the figuring out. It's been 62 years since that happened. So now, a lot of people have figured out a generation to be 50 years, but we know that's not correct, because if it had, Jesus would already be back now. So we are looking at, I'm going to say it like that, I'm looking at a generation being a lot more than 50 years, but not much longer. And if you look at the time when the children of Israel was down in Egypt, you remember what he told Abraham, that they were going to sojourn 400 years in a strange land, and they will be ill mistreated, and that was 4 generations. So I figure I'm saying that was 4th generation according to my Midiman calculation. So I would say at least around 100 some odd years to be a generation. So if you calculate that from 1948, then you do the math. We are very, very close, people. And we can look at the signs of the time and see that we are very, very close. But that's all Midiman's going to say. And I'm saying to the YouTube fam, to the End Time Harvest Gang, the Lord is our shepherd. We are not going to want. We just must keep our hands in His hand. Keep our hand in Him. Everyone is known. Every tree is known. Every tree is known by its fruit. Remember that. Every tree is known by its fruit. So we must stay. If the Lord is our shepherd, remember this. Jesus said, my sheep hear my voice, and another they will not follow. They hear my voice. And then He said this, I know my sheep, and I have not lost one. And I call them by name. So guess what? Jesus got your number. He knows where you live. Don't worry about it, people. God got it. Remember, Midiman say, whatever you get into, if God's not in it, it's best that you come out of it. This is Midiman saying peace. Goodbye.